Welcome to the podcast where your next favorite story is already written in the stars.
We're your new book besties, April.
And Tay, here to get your book cravings started and satisfied.
Why?
Because around here, it's faded.
So grab your current read, maybe a cozy drink, and hide your TBR list because today we're discussing sports romance.
Ooh, ooh, I am so excited. I have been waiting for this episode.
This was the best I could do for dressing up for sports romance day.
And I told you a baseball hat works. Hey,
Yeah.
your sports, your baseball. I'm pulling in
Yeah.
our hockey right now. I'm wearing my Dallas Stars, specifically my Seguin shirt. Yeah, I was ready. I was like, we're doing this. So we got hockey, we got baseball. What more do we need? All the
Exactly.
sports.
Hockey romances are hot too.
They are so hot. And, even more on that is just sports in general I feel like in the last year have really taken off. People want the sports shows. They want to see these romance. We're going to kind of dig in today, y'all, a little bit of a deeper cut of why we think that is. But we're so excited to have you here and have you listening today. So we hope you enjoy it and feel free to let us know at the end if there's other ones that you want to recommend to us.
Yeah. I feel like sports romance is something that I've read a little bit of, but it's definitely probably not in my top books that I've read a ton of. So it's really exciting for me as someone who's newer to reading sports romances because I'm like, oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. And I also, though, am not a sports person. I know that you like sports, watch sports. I do not. And so it doesn't bother me when I'm reading a book about sports and they never practice. I'm like, who cares? Cool. They're so good.
Well, see, that's the cool part, I think, too. You can take a base reader that really doesn't know anything about sports. They can look at it with almost an unbiased lens. I feel like sometimes if you really know the sport, then you can dig in a little deeper and do that. But I'm like, it's not supposed to be overly heavy, y'all. It's still romance. I just want people to remember that when you're taking a book for what it is, if they're wanting to focus on the relationship and not the sport, that is totally okay. But if you happen to love that sport, then it's like getting represented. So I think that's great as
Yeah.
well. I remember at the last book conference I went to, there was a whole bunch of girls talking about it. And one girl was like, I actually started watching hockey because of reading sports romance. I wanted to know more. And she goes, obviously, I was picking up in things and I was like, the book's only skimming the surface of it. But she really wanted to go all in. And I think that's really cool. She developed a new love of something else just because she started reading books about it.
That's so great. And I always think of Fourth Wing, which is obviously not a sports romance, but I think of the Fourth Wing Nights that all of the major, like, what isn't the Dallas is doing one, a Fourth Wing Night, Colorado
It's
Avalanche,
so
which is a
smart,
hockey team, did a
honestly.
Fourth
They're
Wing
bringing
Night.
all these people into different, like, areas of books because they know
Yeah.
it touches on readers, and there's so many readers out there. I'm like, "What a smart marketing team y'all have,"
Hmm.
because if it was me, which y'all, there was a special edition of Liz Tom Forday's book out at I think it was at Fenway, or maybe it was the White Sox. I don't know. Please don't get mad at me. It's whoever her biggest team that she loves is. But either way, Red or White Sox, she was out at the field and had a special edition, and it was beautiful. It was so
Mhm.
stunning, and I was so jealous of everybody that I got a copy of that book. I was like, oh my God, I want to be there so bad. I was looking up resale, and they were just out of my range. So
Out of
definitely,
control.
I mean, if it was close though, I'd be making the trip. I think Arlington is the closest for us. I'd be like driving out to Arlington for a special edition. You best believe.
Yeah. I know. I think that's great. And it's great because Liz Tom Forte, unlike, Rebecca Yar's Fourth Wing, Liz Tom Forte does write heavily sports romances. So I like that it's tying in and it gets so many more people involved in the romance genre in general, which I
It
love.
really does. I think it's great. So
Yeah.
big fan.
Okay. I have a question for you. If you could date a professional athlete, what sport are you choosing? And I want to answer this question after you.
Okay, I'm gonna say baseball straight up. And
Hmm.
my reasoning is baseball pants. That's number one. If you've never seen a guy in baseball pants, 10 out of 10. When they're painted on by Jesus, like it's my favorite.
I'm like
Like,
picturing all of the Savannah Bananas guys.
oh my gosh, pants so tight. It's just so yes, baseball for sure. Not just baseball pants, but that is the number one. But second to that is I feel like it's a very low threshold sport in the fact of it's harder to get hurt in. Like
Hmm.
all the other sports where there's tackling or other things involved, I'd be too stressed out all the time.
Yeah.
Baseball, they're running, they're doing their thing, granted they can have forward muscles and stuff, but I feel like, it's low impact. There's no
Yeah.
head crashing together, different things like that. Like rugby is really intense. I
Mhm.
just think that probably baseball, if I had to choose someone dating. And then two, I have some favorite baseball players that I'm like,
Mhm.
absolutely. Like, oh my gosh, just yeah, my husband knows. I have a love on the Houston Astros. I would for sure be like, sign me up,
Goodbye,
sign me
husband.
up.
Yeah,
Hall pass. No, yeah. So baseball.
that's
What
great.
is yours, April?
Okay, so this is kind of funny, but I just love women's rugby though now because of Alona Mar, who I'm a huge fan of. Love
Left
her
curve.
so much. I know, didn't see that coming, but I'm just like women's rugby I think is such a cool thing. So probably rugby player, just it is very violent sport. I feel like there's football and then there's rugby. And to me, rugby is way more intense than football.
Yeah.
And I learned all about it thanks to our girl Alona. Love her
Mhm.
so much. Shout out to her. She's also a romance reader and we
She
love that.
is. Yeah, and she's a podcaster, so we love that too. She talks about
Yeah,
books with her sisters, and I think that's great. She's
she's
spreading
great.
knowledge too. I like their chit chats. That's really fun to listen to and watch. But she is awesome. I think that's great that she's bringing attention to female sports and body type imaging and things that are like
Yeah.
inherently. To me, she is very sexy,
Mhm.
just strong, beautiful, sexy. Like,
Yeah. I need somebody
and
to write a book about a female rugby player falling in love with somebody,
yes,
and I want, like, realistic body type. I want if there is a book like that out there, hit me up, let me know, I wanna
yes.
read it.
Yes, I wanna read as well, so please recommend, and if it's not out there and you're listening and you're a writer, that's your
Please read it.
niche. Your niche is
Yeah,
that, and then once you put it out there, send it to her and be like, "I picture you as this, let's talk movies,"
exactly.
because she needs her moment for sure. I would be sign me up. I'd be all up for that. That's funny, we both opposite spectrum. I honestly thought you'd pick a sport like golf. I don't
Oh,
know.
oh my
But honestly, after you saying rugby and stuff, no, I'm like, no, I could totally see it because I know you love
yeah,
fantasy and the guys are always rugged. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that fits more of the vibe. I don't know why
I
my
mean,
first instinct was golf. I'm like, no, no, that's
whenever I think
not.
of golf, I just picture Tiger Woods, who is so unromantic to me.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. So no, yeah, I understand. So what sport for you would be an automatic no? So let's say you're on a first date, the guy starts talking and he's like, I play this sport, and you're like, oh, is
Golf,
there a sport that you
literally
think of?
golf.
Golf.
Yeah, 100% golf, which is so sad because I've never read or I should correct this. I've never finished a sports romance that is golf. I've never finished Fangirl Down. I've started it, and I know it's, like, one of your favorites by Tessa
Listen,
Bailey.
it's one of the books I pulled today, so if you're on YouTube, you can see it. Let me tell you, it is a fan favorite here. You're missing out because it's so good, but
I know. Oh, I don't know why. Golf just seems so boring to me, which is
yeah.
I don't know. Sorry. I need to read it because I know it sounds so good and so
It
funny.
is just one of my favorites. Like, Tessa Bailey, bravo to her for making this book and having this book and making a golfer sexy. Because, yes, I would say, and
Yeah.
inherently, golf is not sexy. For
They're like the
me,
polo guys and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Tucked in shirts, very posh,
Mhm.
not really my type. So
Yeah,
I could understand it. I could see it too. I would say for me, it's probably football.
that
And
makes
I
sense.
just, yeah, it tracks with my history. It's too much. And I'm a needy girl. I like attention on me a lot. I think football is such a dedicated, heavy sport. They have to be so involved 24/7. And that's just not for me. I want like that 50-50 split or like 60-40. So like 40% on making money and earning an income by professional athlete and then 60% like attention on that person. I just
Yeah.
don't think that that could be now. Granted, I love me some football romance. So there are some
Mhm.
favorites out there. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but yeah, no, I just for me and I'm just like that's my low par. I'd be like,
I can see that.
mm,
There's also just, like, the pressure of they call them, like, the wags or whatever, and that's just a lot of pressure too as a woman that I would not want people constantly looking at me, what I'm wearing, just to go watch, my significant other play football.
yeah.
No
And
way.
honestly, they do it with a lot of the sports too. Baseball is really cutthroat too. So I would honestly probably be the slumlord of the wags. Honestly, I probably need to invest in like, looking into what hockey wives wear. They're probably more my speed. They probably wear parkas and stuff because it's cold in
Yeah.
the rinks. Yeah, that's my vibe. Cover
In the
your
books,
body.
hockey wives always sound great.
Yeah, I've had
Yeah.
a baby. Nothing looks the same. I'm not a toothpick anymore. I'd rather be comfortable and not have to wear things where my cheeks are hanging out or I have to show my tummy or anything like that. Nothing against it. It's just not for me,
Not for me.
dog.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
that's
would,
right.
I would, that's probably more my speed. I need to look into that.
Right. So, hot question here.
Mhm.
What do you think makes sports romance so hot? Like, why are people so drawn to it? It's such a popular topic. I feel like there's so many. If you look it up on Kindle Unlimited, for example, sports romance, there are thousands and thousands of books. I just want to know what makes it so hot for you or to a reader.
I think probably there's an aspect of I think romance and discipline kind of go hand in hand.
Mhm.
There's a lot of romance readers that love like that certain type of dominant, submissive kink. I think,
Mhm.
at least that's my first. I feel like they can get one a lot of that in sports because probably there's a lot of dominant, like I want to, win, I want to do this. So there's a lot of that kind of attitude that already kind of inherently built within that.
Mm.
And then two, women want men that are as dedicated to them as they are sport. And so it's genius for an author to take that and take
Yep.
what we want and we want that full attention. And even if it's not true, because there's probably plenty of meatheads out there that want nothing to do with, they're all in on their sport and then nothing on their relationship. But the author's going, you know what? I'm going to take that. I'm going to take that want that women need and feel, and I'm going to put
Mhm.
it into a character where he's like, once he's dedicated to the sport, but then he finds his lady and he's just as dedicated to her as he is the sport. That's just already inherently
Yeah.
hot. And then two, I've seen these guys or athletes doing stretches and stuff
Yeah.
before a
Yeah.
game. I've seen the
Fine.
hockey players do like the hip thing on the
I
ice.
was
I'm
thinking of
like,
hockey players too. Hockey players in particular, I feel like are very attractive,
oh, yes.
way attractive people. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I've told this to my husband before. I'm like, "Yeah, they're so hot and stuff." And he's like, "Yeah, yeah, you like guys that have no teeth?" That is also a stereotype that a lot of people associate. And yes, there
Right.
are some that get their teeth knocked out but they get beautiful smiles afterwards,
It's
So
fine.
hey,
Yeah.
cosmetic surgery, it's fine. We're fine with that. I could see how a dude is looking at that from a lens of like realism and they're
Yeah.
getting hit in the face and I'm like, "Shh, shh,
It's
just let
so
them
great.
stretch. Let them do
Yeah.
their butterfly stretches and I'm just going to vibe."
Exactly. And I think also all of those things for sure for sports romances, making them so hot, but also the money. I feel like it
Mm.
kind of is an easy also tie into being not
A
like a
billionaire.
billionaire, but it is a very
Yeah.
wealthy romance. Like I really
Yeah.
love when the script is flipped and she's an athlete or they're both athletes and they both make great money. So I definitely think that that's also a reason why a lot of people find it hot because billionaire, very wealthy person is a very also popular topic for romance novels, which is great.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, I would agree. There's just I think that you're spot on with
Yeah.
having the money. It kinda makes
Have
it
discipline and money. Boom.
discipline and money. Vibes.
And you're a hot hockey player.
Yes, and you're a hot hockey player, which all of them are like 6'4". I'm like, "How is that even fair?"
Yeah.
Being
Better than the
tall
basketball
and all
players,
of those
though.
things. Oh my gosh, that too. Ugh. I figured what we could do is ping pong on sports. So we'll say
Yeah.
sport and then we'll talk about some books under that category. We're not going to go in depth here on this episode, y'all. We're really just skimming the surface, but we're just trying to give y'all some series or books that might have interest to you if you like that sport or you're interested in it. And like we can kind of
Yes.
give you just like a brief overview of it.
Okay, so football, I immediately think of Megan Brandy whenever somebody's like a football romance. And I think of the one that hopefully every person who is a sports romance has read, The Boys of Brayshaw and Say You Swear, which is probably one of the best books ever with one of the best book boyfriends ever for the girls who know, you know. But football romances, there's so many of them. I
Mhm.
actually have recently read a couple of them. I love C.R. Jane. She writes like I would call them dark, not dark, but more unhinged romances. She's got a great football series. She also, I believe, has a hockey series too. I just haven't read it yet. Also with football though, I think of my sister said a really good one is Broken Play by Riley Page. They all deal with some sort of trauma in it. So that makes me think of Megan Brandy, who super trauma in Say You Swear for those who read it. So a dime a dozen for football romances. Honestly, there's so many and
Yeah.
they're good. I eat
There's,
them up. I love
yeah.
football romances. It's the one sport that like I kind of know a little bit about. So yeah, that's huge.
It's so thick. It is an omnibus for everybody looking. I don't want everybody to be like, "Oh my god, that's one book." There's multiple books in here, people. This is not just this is not
Yeah,
just one, but this is an entire series. This is from Bella Matthews, and she knows how to write a sports romance and has like dark academia vibes to me in some ways.
Mhm.
But it's really, really good. It's her Kings of Crichton Hills, and like I can't
So
recommend this
pretty.
one enough. She's a really outstanding author and even a more outstanding person. She was one of those ones we met at a book conference, and she's just so sweet. This one is a really good football. Besides Megan Brandy, I agree. Say You Swear with Noah Riley. I mean, top tier in
Yeah,
terms of football boyfriend. Just watching that is so, so
so
good.
good.
But definitely recommend all of those series to y'all if y'all like football. Another
Yes.
sport we can recommend is baseball. And there are some really good ones. I pulled a few that I have. We have Caught Up by Liz Tomforte, which is
That's
a
exactly
really
who
good
I was
one.
thinking of.
Yep.
Yeah.
She has a really good one that's related to baseball. I think this is the 4th one in the series, if I remember correctly. Maybe it's the 3rd. But there's quite a few of these books, and I don't know how her brain does it, but she connects all these books individually, so they all kind of link up together. She also has this one in her own league. This is the most recent in the same series. So good. And we talked about role reversal. Well, it is the GM of the baseball team. She owns, the entire thing. And then you also have well, he's the GM and she's the owner. So I think that's really cool. So she's like his boss. There's some forbidden thing going on. So in her own league is really, really good.
But it's not Ted Lasso.
But it's not Ted Lasso. I am so sorry, Liz. I fully offended her, I believe, and April witnessed it, and I've never been more embarrassed. I'm like, "Oh, it's like, the lady who owns the team and Ted." She's like, "They do not look like those players." I'm like, "No, I didn't mean they look like that. I just meant in essence of what it could be." And she's like looking at me like, "Sure, sure, sure," but I'm offended. And I was
You're
like,
a
"I'm
crazy person.
I did not mean to offend you. I love Ted Lasso. It is such a good show." But 10 out of 10, I love her still,
Yeah.
no harm, no foul to me. I could understand where she was worried that I was making her characters look like that. And I'm like, no, no, no. They can stay hot. They can stay totally hot. That's where my brain went. I went to the
Yeah.
woman owner and the men who's the soccer coach. That's where my brain went. But anyways,
The best thing about Liz Tomforte too is her Windy City series. I feel like as somebody who, like me, who is not super heavy sports person, her
Mhm.
books are easy to read and understand. And that series in particular covers multiple sports. I think the first book is hockey, second book is basketball, third book I believe is baseball. It kind of follows through. Yeah, you've got them all there. It follows through so many different sports. So if you're looking for an author who's going to write amazing romances that have sports in them but are not like so lingo heavy, she's a really great one for sure.
Yeah, and I do like how she connects them too. I did feel the need to, as I was reading them, read through the entire series in order, and that was kind of the fun and joy because you kind of would pick up on like who was next in the line. The
Mhm.
first book, it follows Stevie, and or she's getting on a plane to work as a flight attendant, and she ends up being with the hockey team on the plane, and of course, her and the guys hit it off. They end up being together. Well, her friend ends up going through a breakup, and she's like, I need a place to stay because you're moving out, blah blah blah. And so she's like, "Well, my brother has a space." And then I'm like, I'm calling it. That is the next
Yeah.
book." And it starts with her emotional wreck because she thought she was going to marry the other guy and etc. And then, of course, Ryan Shea is the bee's knees and his book is basketball. And like,
Mhm.
loved that. And it was very surface level. We didn't get too deep. There was nothing like, I didn't really have to feel like
Yeah.
I was having to research the sport and learn, like, what all the terminology is or anything like that. So that was great.
Yeah.
'Cause I could enjoy it. I feel like I'm there with her cheering for him, but then I'm also like, I don't have to worry about it knowing what's going on. It was so great. So
I know. I think The Right Move, which is Liz
mhm,
Tomforti, is probably the only basketball sports romance I've
mhm.
ever read. I feel like there's not nearly as many as there is football and hockey, which are probably the two most prevalent sports for those things. But
Yeah.
I would be interested. Somebody recommend to me some more basketball
Yeah, because 'cause they're
romances.
probably out there. They're just not getting as much attention right now
Mhm,
as these 2 major sports right now. So I would love to
mhm.
see more options. And then too, because it is one of my favorites, I'm like, there has to be another one that's like out there that's like a sleeper that I don't even know
Yeah,
about that I need to be reading.
exactly. We need to know. We need recommendations for this.
I did put golf on here, and we
Mhm.
had already talked about that. So the only golf
Fangirl
book I've read
down.
is Fangirl Down. That one is very niche,
Yeah.
very, very niche. But I'm so proud of her for doing that. Because go her, because I didn't even know this could go well. So, hey,
Golfers could be sexy, yeah.
golfers can be sexy. Thank you, Tessa Bailey, for putting that in the brain.
Yeah, I feel like I've only really read golf kind of in a romance book is when they're at, like, a country club, and then they're
Yeah.
doing a fundraiser or something like that. I'm thinking of Kat Singleton, I think that they do some golf in some of her billionaire
Yeah.
romances. That's really the only thing I can think of that I've read, so maybe we need golf recommendations too, because Fangirl Down is a favorite of yours,
I
so
honestly think it's very niche. I doubt there's any out there. I don't think anybody's gonna be like, "Yeah, I know a golf." If you do, you'll shock me. I'll do something crazy in the next episode. If somebody leaves me another golf wreck, I will do something crazy. So, feel free to drop one, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So, we
Right?
do have quite a bit to talk about hockey. Hockey has
Yeah.
just been flooded this last year, and honestly, a lot of it has to do with heated rivalry. Now, I will admit
Mhm.
myself, I have not watched any of it because it's not really my thing, not in the regard of the gay men, because go them. But I
Yeah.
just for me, I'm like, I just haven't gotten on the craze. I haven't gotten on the but I understand it. I'm like,
Mhm.
I get it. But I haven't rode the wagon yet. So I need to
I
like
haven't read the books, but I heard they're super sexy.
yeah. Yeah.
But I also heard it takes a long time, like, it's not like a one-book deal and they're together, it's, like, multiple books before they kinda get their happily ever
Yeah.
after.
'Cause it really does it's a heated rivalry, like, there's tension, there's, like,
Yeah,
whatever, they just haven't had that moment. People said, of course, the book was way heavier slow burn than it was, like, in the show.
in
The
the
show,
show.
they get right to it, which, hey, I'm like, they gotta keep interest of people now, so they
Yeah,
can't have, like, a whole season of slow burn and then at the very end have a kiss and be like, "Bye."
right,
Everybody
and
would be
then
like, "I'm rioting."
that's right, and then I think also it helps we have heated rivalry, but then on the other side, we have off campus, which has
Yes.
gone absolutely viral,
Yeah, I think it's
and
Prime's best performing show on
yeah.
history. I'm like, "That's crazy."
Yeah, so obviously Hockey Romance is getting huge amounts of
They do have that one.
following, huge audience, more and more people. Yes, The Deal by Elle Kennedy. If you enjoyed Off Campus, that's the series it's based off of. Go read that book. I have read The Deal. I've actually read a couple books in that series. They all follow the hockey team
Mhm.
players. It's fabulous. It continues on. Like she's got so many spin-off series now that
Yeah,
are
she's got,
connected
like,
to
their
it.
kids falling in love and, like, their I don't even know,
Yeah.
grandkids, maybe? I don't know, cousins, something. And, hey, if you're gonna keep milking that cow, go for it. I mean, people are
Yeah.
invested, I'm invested. Speaking of, her book series got our friend out of a reading slump. Our
Yeah.
friend, listen, y'all, was, like, on a 6-month, maybe more, not reading anything. Off Campus comes out, and she's like, "Yeah, I'll read the book." She read all 4 in 2 weeks. I was like, "Holy but Jesus."
Yeah. That's how good those books are.
It's like, "Oh my gosh, you got a friend to not only read a book and finish one, you got her to read 4 and complete an entire series." Oh, Kennedy, we thank you because she
Yes.
needed that as much as we did because we were dying to talk about stuff, and then meanwhile, she's just like, "Oh, I'm not really into reading," and reads this entire series, and then she's like, "It's so good."
Right.
Sports brought you out.
It did. It did. Yeah, I think
Hey.
of so many hockey romances. I bet everybody, like, when we say hockey romance, I bet a lot of people think of so many books. I think of C.R. Jane, she's got a
Mhm,
hockey romance series. I think of Elle Kennedy. There are so many. I think of Chelsea Curto. She's a really up and coming hockey romance writer who is also a phenomenal person too, by the way.
mhm,
But I just think there's so many out there. And
mhm.
I feel like a lot of hockey teams, like real hockey teams, have kind of embraced the idea of hockey romances. I've seen so many teams doing videos, reading books and snippets of it, of off campus and all that. And that's been really
Mhm.
fun to see too.
It's neat. They're having girls' nights going to hockey
Yeah.
games and then talking about hockey. I've been seeing book clubs do nights out, and
Yeah.
it's so cool to see. So I definitely
I
have
love
some
that.
recommendations. I flood with the recommendations on hockey. So we're going to talk about Tessa Bailey. So Tessa Bailey has the same series where Fangirl Down takes place. There's other 2 books where she has hockey related. So we talked about the Au Pair Affair last week, but she also has one called Dream Girl Drama. Both of these fill the hockey void. She's kind of a prissy girl, and he's a guy on the hockey team, and he kind of gets to take her down a peg. And I love that. I love that trope so, so much. So she's like,
Hmm.
kind of fun, flirty, but a rich girl. And he's just like, girl, please, no, we're not playing that. So I really like this one. Dream Girl Drama was really good. So both of those I highly recommend from Miss Tessa Bailey. Another one is going to be Lana Ferguson. Now, we met her. She's precious. precious.
She's
I love
cute.
her so much. She was so sweet meeting her in person. But she has one called The Game Changer. This hockey series follows a hockey player and a baker. And she finds out that she needs to boost her ratings on a television show. So they end up having her do a baking thing with hockey players. And it's so cute. I love this one. And also, too, I like kind of the idea that's a little more unique than just, I'm like, oh, okay, she has her own career, he has his, and then they kind of like flirt and
Mhm.
so Kandi Steiner is the person I'm also thinking of that is also a hockey romance. She has several in the series. I started with Meet Your Match. All of them are super good. She's an interviewer. He's the new hot shot on the team. She goes to interview him. I love that. I love that trope. He's, kind of full of himself. So I think it's kind
Mhm.
of cool to kind of see that as well because I kind of like them when they're a little snarky and then they turn good towards the end of the book. So really good series. I love Kandi Steiner. Can't recommend her enough. My final recommendation, and when it comes to hockey romance, is Rebecca Jenshak. Her
Ooh,
hockey is so
yes.
good. She writes it so, so good. So we have this one called Wildcat. I love this one a lot, but Lucky Shot is my latest and greatest. I actually just finished this one. It's so good. So our main female character, she is a romance author and she
Mhm.
wrote a book, actually baseball romance, and her publisher's like, baseball's just not it right now. We need you to write hockey. And she's like, hockey? I don't know anything about hockey. So lo and behold, she's like, okay, listening to her publisher, and she's like, okay, I need to do this. Meanwhile, it jumps to our main male character who is on the team, and he's, I would say, on the cusp of retirement, but not retiring. He's also a single dad, and he's trying to focus on, having a good life for him and his son, but then also too focusing on the team and what he needs. And his name is Nick Galaxy, which I think is such a cool, like, I can
Wow.
picture it now where they call him out and whatever. So, but lo and behold, his dad, who lives with him as well, rents a room to her. So he's like, oh, yeah, my son would love to teach you stuff. Doesn't tell him. This girl just shows up at the house with all her bags. And he's like, who are you? And like, why are you here? And she's like, I'm here to talk with Nick Galaxy. He's supposed to be my liaison to talk about sports. And he's like, that's me, but I don't even know who the heck you are. So it's so great. I love that kind of meet cute initially. And then the dad's like, he. I got this girl coming out here to do this. She's going to loosen him up and make him fun. Well, lo and behold, yeah, loosen up. They both fall in love. It's very cute.
Mhm.
I love this book a lot. But of course, she's at some point they have a whole thing. And, I love, books like that. So very
So cute.
good. Highly recommend The Lucky Shot by Rebecca Jenshak. That one is a great fills the hockey void. And then too, you do
Yeah.
learn stuff in this because the author in the book, she is learning, Ruby Madison, she's learning about the sport. So I think that's kind of cool too.
Mhm.
The way she plays it off is I'm gonna teach you stuff, but it's gonna be like Nick teaching her. I got to learn a little bit of something, but then too got to see it from the eyes of herself. So love that
Yes.
series.
Yes. Well, all right, besties. That's it for today's episode.
Make sure to follow, download, and share our podcast socials with other book besties. We would love to hear your favorite sports romances. And like I said, I'm up for the challenge. If you can find one, let us know. Please leave a comment on your favorite platform letting us know.
And join us next week where we're talking about books we're feral for.
Ooh, and remember,
We're glad you're here because
it's faded.